The most common advice for PCOS is making it worse for millions of women. Metformin addresses a symptom, the pill masks another. But neither one touches the actual root cause. This video does. In this video, I am going to walk you through why the conventional approach falls short, what the root cause science actually says, and most importantly, what evidence-based natural interventions have been shown to produce real, measurable results. Stay with me. This is the video I wish existed when I was told I have PCOS. What PCOS actually is and what it is not. PCOS, polycystic ovary syndrome, is the most common hormonal disorder in women of reproductive age, affecting between 8 and 13% of women globally. Despite its name, you do not need to have polycystic ovaries to have PCOS. The diagnosis is based on the Rotterdam criteria. If you meet 2 of 3 markers, irregular or absent periods, elevated androgen either in blood tests or through symptoms like acne, hair loss, and excess facial hair, and the appearance of multiple follicles on the ovaries, you qualify for the diagnosis. This is the first problem with how PCOS is handled. It is treated as a single condition when it is actually a syndrome, a cluster of symptoms with multiple different root causes. Research now recognizes at least 4 distinct PCOS types: insulin-resistant PCOS, which is the most common, inflammatory PCOS, adrenal PCOS driven by stress hormones, and post-pill PCOS triggered by coming off hormonal contraception. Each has a different primary driver. Each requires a different primary intervention. When every woman with PCOS receives the same protocol, the majority are being treated for the wrong root cause. Why the standard approach falls short. The contraceptive pill is the most commonly prescribed treatment for PCOS. It works by suppressing ovulation entirely, which stops the hormonal fluctuations that cause irregular periods and reduces androgen levels, improving acne and hair symptoms. For many women it provides real relief. But here is what it does not do: it does not treat PCOS. It pauses it. The moment you stop the pill, the underlying hormonal imbalance resurfaces, sometimes worse than before, in a phenomenon researchers now call post-pill PCOS exacerbation. The pill also depletes key nutrients including zinc, magnesium, B vitamins, and vitamin C, every single one of which plays a direct role in hormone regulation and insulin sensitivity. It does not address the root. It covers the signal. Metformin, prescribed for the insulin resistance component of PCOS, is more targeted and for the insulin resistant type can produce meaningful results. But insulin resistance is present in approximately 70% of PCOS cases, meaning 30% of women on metformin are being treated for a driver that is not primary in their case. And even for those with insulin resistance, metformin without dietary and lifestyle change produces limited long-term benefit because the dietary inputs driving insulin resistance remain unchanged. It is a brake on a car still in drive. The advice to lose weight, reduce stress, and exercise more is not wrong. It is incomplete, unsupported, and for many women, particularly those with the fatigue, the insulin dysregulation, and the depression that PCOS often brings, practically impossible to execute without first addressing the underlying hormonal chaos. Telling a woman with unmanaged PCOS to just exercise more is like telling someone with a broken leg to walk it off. The root cause, what the research actually shows for the majority of women with PCOS, the primary driver is insulin resistance, a state where the body's cells become less responsive to insulin, requiring the pancreas to produce more and more of it to do the same job. Chronically elevated insulin directly stimulates the ovaries to produce excess androgens, testosterone and DHEA, which suppress ovulation, disrupt the menstrual cycle, and produce the characteristic symptoms of acne, hair loss, and weight gain around the abdomen. This is not a theory. This is the mechanistic pathway confirmed across decades of endocrinological research. But insulin resistance in PCOS is not purely about diet. It is driven by 3 interlocking factors: chronic inflammation, gut microbiome disruption, and mitochondrial dysfunction in the ovarian cells themselves. A landmark study published in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism found that women with PCOS have measurably different gut microbiome compositions compared to women without PCOS, with significantly lower populations of lactobacillus and other bacteria that regulate estrogen metabolism and systemic inflammation. A separate body of research confirms that chronic low-grade inflammation driven by diet, stress, sleep disruption, and gut permeability directly amplifies androgen production and worsens insulin signaling. These are not peripheral factors. They are central mechanisms. And they are almost never addressed in a standard PCOS consultation. What actually works? Intervention 1. A low-glycemic anti-inflammatory diet. If insulin resistance is the primary driver of most PCOS, then the most powerful single intervention is reducing the dietary inputs that drive insulin spikes. This does not mean a ketogenic diet or extreme carbohydrate restriction. It means replacing refined carbohydrates, added sugars, and ultra-processed foods with whole foods that digest slowly and maintain stable blood glucose. A 2022 meta-analysis in Nutrients analyzed 16 dietary intervention trials in women with PCOS and found that low glycemic dietary patterns produced significant reductions in fasting insulin, testosterone levels, and BMI independent of caloric intake. The mechanism is direct. Lower glucose spikes mean lower insulin demand, which means lower androgen stimulation from the ovaries. Practically, this means whole grains, legumes, leafy greens, and healthy fats at the foundation of every meal. Protein with every meal to blunt glucose response. Omega-3 rich foods, fatty fish, walnuts, flaxseed, which directly reduce the inflammatory cytokines that worsen insulin resistance. And removing the two most insulin disruptive foods from daily life, sugar-sweetened drinks and refined flour products. Research shows measurable hormonal improvement within 8 to 12 weeks of consistent low glycemic eating. Intervention 2. Inositol, the most underutilized PCOS supplement. If there is one intervention that the research has validated most consistently for PCOS and that most women have never heard of, it is inositol. Inositol is a naturally occurring compound sometimes classified as a B vitamin that acts as a secondary messenger for insulin signaling inside cells. Women with PCOS have been shown to have a defect in inositol metabolism that directly contributes to their insulin resistance, regardless of dietary intake. A 2019 review published in the International Journal of Endocrinology, analyzing over 30 clinical trials, found that supplementation with a 40:1 ratio of myo-inositol to D-chiro-inositol, the ratio naturally found in the body, produced significant reductions in fasting insulin, testosterone, LH, and improved menstrual regularity and ovulation rates in women with PCOS. In several head-to-head trials, this combination outperformed metformin in restoring ovulatory cycles while producing none of the gastrointestinal side effects. The typical effective dose is 4 grams of myo-inositol combined with 100 milligrams of D-chiro-inositol daily. This is not a fringe supplement. It is a clinically validated intervention with a direct mechanistic rationale, and it is almost never mentioned in a standard PCOS appointment. Intervention 3. Gut health and the microbiome connection. The gut hormone axis is one of the most significant areas of emerging PCOS research. Your gut microbiome does not just digest food. It regulates the reabsorption and metabolism of estrogen and androgens, modulates systemic inflammation, and influences insulin sensitivity through the production of short-chain fatty acids that feed the cells lining your gut and signal to your immune system. When this microbiome is disrupted by antibiotics, ultra-processed food, chronic stress, or the contraceptive pill itself, the downstream effects on hormonal balance are measurable. Practical interventions include daily consumption of fermented foods, plain yogurt, kefir, kimchi, or sauerkraut, which introduce beneficial bacteria. Prebiotic fiber from oats, garlic, onions, leeks, and legumes feeds those bacteria and supports short-chain fatty acid production. And reducing gut irritants, excess alcohol, highly processed foods, and chronic stress closes the pathway through which inflammatory compounds enter the bloodstream and amplify androgen production. Gut health is not a wellness trend in the context of PCOS. It is a mechanistic intervention with direct hormonal consequences. Intervention 4. stress management and the adrenal PCOS connection. For women with adrenal PCOS characterized by elevated DHEAS rather than elevated testosterone, and often normal LH to FSH ratios, the primary driver is not insulin at all. It is chronic activation of the HPA axis, the stress response system involving the hypothalamus, pituitary gland, and adrenal glands. Chronically elevated cortisol stimulates the adrenal glands to produce excess DHEAS, which converts to androgens and drives the same symptoms as insulin-driven PCOS. In these women, metformin produces minimal benefit because insulin is not the primary mechanism. The interventions with the most evidence for adrenal PCOS are those that directly reduce cortisol and regulate the HPA axis, consistent sleep with a stable sleep schedule, which is one of the most powerful cortisol regulators available. Daily breathwork or yoga practice with multiple randomized trials showing significant reductions in cortisol and DHEAS after 12 weeks, and magnesium glycinate at 300 to 400 mg before bed, which is depleted by chronic stress and plays a critical role in regulating the adrenal stress response and improving insulin sensitivity simultaneously. Bringing it together, your starting point. PCOS is not a single condition with a single solution. It is a metabolic and hormonal syndrome with at least 4 distinct root causes, each requiring a targeted approach. The standard protocol addresses surface symptoms. The research points clearly toward root cause intervention. Here is your practical starting point. First, identify your PCOS type. Ask your doctor to test fasting insulin and HOMA-IR for insulin resistance, and DHEAS for the adrenal component. This tells you where to focus. Second, shift your diet toward low-glycemic whole foods immediately. This is the single intervention with the broadest benefit across all PCOS types. Third, consider inositol supplementation. The evidence is strong, the safety profile is excellent, and the mechanism is direct. Fourth, address gut health daily through fermented foods and prebiotic fiber. And fifth, treat your sleep and stress as medical interventions, not lifestyle preferences, because for a significant proportion of women with PCOS, they are the primary treatment. You deserve a complete picture. You deserve to understand the biology of your own body. And you deserve more than a prescription and a pamphlet. If this video gave you something actionable, please hit like and subscribe. See you in the next one.